I did want to start the stream off here, kind of with basically just like a moment of silence for the children that were lost in that school shooting. One of them, let me switch here. One of them is 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel, has been identified as one of the victims of the Minneapolis church shooting by the trans terrorists. So, just want to do a moment of silence and prayer, just praying that our thoughts and prayers go out to their families and the victims of that terrible shooting. So I'm just going to take a moment here and stay quiet. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for that. It was really a sad thing to see. That's what we're gonna get into, is the trans shooter that shot up a church. We're gonna talk about some theories behind what's going on with that. So thoughts and prayers go out to the victims. I mean, it was very sad to see that another trans terrorist decided to attack a bunch of innocent children who had nothing to do with anything. You know, that's how they always prey on the victims of children, because they can't fight back and, you know, they're cowards to face anybody who could actually shoot back at them. Rest in peace, yes, that's right, Joe. Rest in peace to the victims. Very sad to see. You know, beautiful young white children Christian white children being attacked for no reason at all. You know, it's very sad to see. Damn, my heart goes out to the Merkel family. Yeah, my heart goes out to them too. They really didn't deserve any of this stuff. That's pretty much what we're gonna be talking about, is this trans shooter, freak, fucking decided to go and shoot up a school. It's been a few days now, but breaking, the alleged Minnesota Catholic school shooter has been identified as Robin Westman, reportedly identified as transgender. The manifesto included pride flags with a gun that etched with "Kill Trump" onto it. Yeah, he had a bunch of stuff etched onto his guns, which is very sad and pathetic. I kind of don't even want to show this guy's face much longer than that. But he definitely was a trans dude, and the mainstream media is kind of trying to paint it as he's, you know, right-wing, because he had some, like, racial stuff on his guns as well. But it's pretty much confirmed that he was basically a left-wing psychopath, terrorist, trans terrorist. Westman, you can't make this up. Yeah, that's true. But I can still read it. It says, motherfucker with "Kill Trump," I believe, on his gun was totally right-wing goyams. Yeah, that's what the mainstream media is trying to paint it as. I've seen some posts by the New York Times, some articles and stuff where they say, you know, he had, like I said, racial stuff on his gun and, I don't know, stuff in his manifesto, but yeah, we all know he was a trans left-wing psychopath that attacked children for no reason. There's no reason other than that we live in America, the source of anti-white culture in the world. That is very true. Very true, Guardian. Which way, Western man? Guess Westman chose his way. Yeah, I mean, he added to the 41% suicide statistic. I believe he killed himself after doing his attack. So at least we can, you know that at least he's not in the world anymore. I was actually banned on Twitter again for one of my posts, but I appealed it and it got overruled, which it's hard to read on here, but it's not teasing me. Your account has been blocked for violating the X rules. And what I said was actually, I believe, this post, which I said, it's time to take weapons from mentally ill trans people by force. So that got flagged as violent speech, apparently, even though I didn't make any stipulations on the force that would be used or anything like that. I just said, you know, the government needs to step in and we need to identify that trans people are mentally ill people And we don't allow mentally ill people to own firearms, so why are transgender people allowed to own firearms? I believe they should be taken away from these people by, force, by government force, They always want to attack us for our thoughts and prayers, which is another tweet that Jen Psaki made here, which I thought was disgusting, which is, she said, prayer is not freaking enough. Prayers do not end school shootings. Prayers do not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayers do not bring these kids back. Enough with the thoughts and prayers, which, yeah, I thought is just abhorrent. Like, Catholic children were just killed and you're gonna start attacking other innocent people for praying for the victims? Like, what is wrong with you? I mean, that's just psychopathic behavior. I said, do you think dead Christian children as an attack vector against innocent people of faith is beyond abhorrent and disgusting? If prayer isn't enough, then go after the people who have the power to do something and don't. Put all trans people in mental institutions and take their firearms. And I totally believe that. They're going to use AI police thought in the wake of this. That's a bad thing, yeah. That is true. That is likely. Thought police, yeah. I mean, people around that person, I think, knew a bunch. I think his mother knew a bunch, and, sometimes you gotta do something. If you see something, say something. I mean, the guy was clearly a psychopath. Even if he ended himself, I can't see his death as a defeat of evil. They are lunatics and Jews, creating more of them at this moment, yeah. That's kind of why I don't really want to spread around his name or his photo that much, because I don't really like the idea of giving the killer notoriety. I think that's generally a bad thing to do, but, I mean, it is already out there and it's pretty negligible what I would be able to contribute to that, but, still a very sick and disgusting person. But I am glad that he is at least out of the world. Maybe I would have been a little more happy if he got some prison time and actually had to suffer a bit longer. Why would the mother lawyer up? Seems sus. Yeah, I mean, there was another school shooter that had their parents actually get charged and they were convicted of I think it was like second-degree manslaughter or something like that. Or it's the type where you're not directly involved, but they knew a bunch and they didn't do anything to stop it. And they got charged, so, I mean, she's probably knows that she's gonna get charged with some kind of crime. I mean, I don't know how old the guy was. I'm not sure if he lived at home, but, I think it's pretty well known that he was doing the trans stuff for a while. And, she should have known. And she should have said something. I do think, and that was a tweet by, Wurzel Root here, which I thought was pretty good, which is, he said that families need to be held accountable for raising people who end up slaughtering innocents before they turn 25. You fucked up and released a little monster into the world who went and did exactly what you raised them to do, actually. And I definitely believe that. I do believe that the parents hold some accountability here. What's gonna happen? I don't know, but I believe that she will probably be charged with something. And I do kind of hope to see that. But I do think that's the correct take, is that, more people, involved with it should be charged, not just the person who did the crime. But I definitely think they should go after the people who can do something and they're not doing anything, like this guy here. I think he's the mayor of the place that got attacked, and he said he had to say this.
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Yeah, no shit.
These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the...
Yeah, we already know that, but he's also coming out and saying, you know, now we have to ban assault weapons. You know, the usual stuff that happens, right? The spoons made me fat. The gun did the crime on its own. You know, they don't care that... they don't care about the ideology of the person who committed the crime, which is what led them to do the crime to begin with. They just want to blame inanimate objects for doing things on their own, and take away the rights of law-abiding citizens, like that's somehow gonna help. Like, I think the saying is, you know, criminals don't obey laws, so more laws against guns is not going to magically make them obey laws. And if it wasn't a gun, they would have done it with something else. A knife, some other kind of weapon, bombs, even man-made bombs. You know, you're not going to be able to stop these people. I definitely am in the camp that believes that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. So, I'm not sure if the church had any kind of security, but they definitely should have had some kind of security. I mean, it is a sad state to have to consider that we need security in churches, for God's sake, but, you know, with these crazy people, and especially with Trump in office, you know, they love to go nuts because Trump is in office. You know, that's what they're gonna do. In Sweden, it's against the law to be a criminal? Yeah. What's going on, Wallhead Rex? Yeah, that's true. It's against the law to be a criminal. Who would have guessed, right? Wow, that's crazy. It's against the law to kill people? Wow. Maybe we need more laws, more signs, more gun-free zone signs to tell them that, hey, you're not supposed to do that here, and that'll stop it. Yeah, right. That never worked. Even if they ban guns, underestimate human nature when it comes to creativity. Oh, hold on, let me reread that. Even if they ban guns, they underestimate human nature when it comes to creativity in killing. Yeah, exactly. That is very true. Yeah, they won't. They'll find another means. You know, all they have to do is get in a car, and they could use a car as a weapon. What are you gonna do? Ban cars? No, that's just stupid. So I think this guy's an idiot. The mayor of Minneapolis, very big idiot. And of course it happened in Minnesota, right? Where, you know, Tim Walz was from. He was pretty famous for saying that he's friends with trans shooters and stuff like that. Well, this is what you get. This is what you get. And I said, they attack innocent people for praying for victims rather than the trans ideology that caused the actual shooting and killed children. They pray because they don't have positions of power to make change like this guy does and refuses to. Yeah. Then the change that needs to be done is not banning guns. The change that needs to be done is taking guns from mentally ill trans people, because they need to classify transgenderism as the mental illness it is. Those people should not be allowed to buy weapons. I mean, there's plenty of pictures of all the trans people with the shirts that have guns on them and stuff. You know, they're gonna get violent about these ideas as more of this laws and stuff rolls back and rolls out. So, you know, we gotta be more careful. We gotta pay attention to these degenerate psychos and put them behind bars if necessary. But that was that post. And then Alex Jones had this tweet, and we'll watch the clip of it. But I posted, big if true, not surprising but big, and someone said, breaking, the Minnesota shooter's father worked for the CIA for 29 years. Who would have thought this? So predictable. Yeah. So allegedly his father worked for the CIA. Very interesting. Let's see what Alex Jones has to say about this. Alex Jones tweeted, breaking, the Minnesota trans cult killer of children father has worked for 29 years as a top-level CIA DoD contractor. This repeats the exact Same pattern with other school shooters that we have seen over and over again. The globalists don't want us asking questions and investigating, so do the opposite. You know, he always says the globalists, but we all know the globalists are the Jews, essentially. But, cold dead hands, yeah, take our weapons from our cold dead hands, right? Exactly. But let's hear what Alex Jones has to say
Westman,
here.
let's read about him. Very interesting. Senior application developer at Esri. What is Esri? Well, Esri is the leading original geospatial satellite ground mapping GPS coordinate system for the Pentagon, Google, and everything else.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
He's been working there since 96, 29 years, 7 months. And at a whole bunch of other very interesting places. The GIS for Defense and Intelligence. Here's the company, the hands-down leader in all of it. Esri is a global leader in geographic information systems, GIS software, and has various contracts with the U.S. government agencies, including the Central Intelligence Agency and the Department of Defense through GSA, schedules, enterprises, license agreements, ELAs, and direct task orders for software services and training. These contracts provide access to Esri's mapping and analytics technology to support missions related to defense, intelligence, disaster response, and data sharing.
Wow, that's crazy.
Esri
Who would have
on
guessed?
Wikipedia, read all about it. Geo database, Esri. And you can read all about mommy being so proud of her new daughter. Here she is signing
Yeah,
documents.
actually, I want to read what she said. She posted, or somebody in the church posted, on Sunday we honored Mary Grace Westman, who is retiring from communication. She has provided such a wonderful hospitality and friendship compassion all gathered. Yeah, so, you know, she's,
And you can read all about mommy
she's involved.
being so proud of her new daughter. Here she is signing documents. 5 years ago, so that her little boy could start to take all the chemicals and become this new beautiful butterfly. This chalice
Yeah,
for
so
demonic
crazy.
forces. Now we're going to get into what the CIA and MI6 and the Pritzkers running a lot of this.
Yeah,
The
this
whole
is all
Soros
the
operation funding it. Don't want you to know.
this is all the trans people who are becoming violent because we're taking away their rights. Apparently, even though they all have the same rights as everyone else, but maybe they need less rights, and especially less rights in relation to the Second Amendment. Maybe it's time to take that away.
This is their planned main detonator force with the youth at public schools, private schools, even mainline Christian schools. They're getting huge government and corporate grants, BlackRock grants, to go in and secretly start brainwashing your children using behavioral modification. They create files. They don't.
Yeah, they even have this shit on magazines. Like, this is crazy. The circled part says, as the Trump administration attacks trans people, queer folks are armed and ready to bash back. Bash back, okay. They got a trans person here holding an AR, an Armalite rifle. Are you triggered? Yeah, this is propaganda to incite violence by these trans people against normal people, and it's not just, you know, regular adults they're attacking. Of course, they always go after children, which is disgusting. Innocent children. Unbelievable. I said, it's time. What's going on, sicko? Good to see you. Tasia. It's time to return the asylums. Yes, we need to put all these people back in insane asylums where they belong. They shall be locked in a mental asylum. I agree. What's going on, Dark Rose? Good to see you. Bashback is an old queer Marxist organization. Oh, I did not know that. I learned that from Carlin. Oh, interesting. Well, if you didn't know that, I could kind of take that in many different ways, but Good to see you too. Yeah, what's going on? No slashes. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, this is what they're promoting, is trans people taking up arms against normal people, which is very bad, very dangerous.
Tell the parents, they assess the parents on whether they're going to go along with it. If they won't, they then brainwash the child to turn against their parents. They have passed laws all over the United States to take children away from parents that don't go along with it. You've seen many of the children taken.
Hi, Miku. Hi.
And of course, when they've had these trans shooters increasingly killing children at churches and schools, the corporate media and the Biden DOJ fought like the devil to cover it up. But
Yeah,
now
they
the dam's
did.
broken.
And they're still trying to do
shooter
it.
Robin Westman confesses he was tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself. Oh, you didn't brainwash yourself.
Right, so they're saying that to try and run cover and spin the narrative to try to distance the shooter from the trans agenda, which is bullshit. I mean, there's that picture that he drew of himself looking in the mirror where it shows him as a trans, and on the other side you see a demon. They know what they're doing. And I don't believe it. I don't believe the New York Post for a second here.
Trans, I wish I never brainwashed myself. Oh, you didn't brainwash yourself. You got your mind wiped by hardcore chemicals and then put into a culture of death where
They just can't leave the kids alone. I know. It's ridiculous. And that's the thing is, I mean, I'm not arguing for this, but I think most normal people don't care that much about the trans stuff, but all they want is for them to just leave kids alone, and that's too much to ask for them. And why is that too much to ask? Because we know that gay people can't procreate, so the only way to spread their agenda is through the children of other peoples to, indoctrinate and convert them. Without regular straight people having children, they have no one to spread their message and narrative to, so that's why they attack and use kids all the time. But most normal people will just say, hey, just leave the kids alone, do whatever, which I don't really agree with, but that's all they want, is to just leave the kids alone, and they can't help themselves. They can't stop themselves from doing that. Robert Westman didn't brainwash himself. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I think that paperwork that Alex showed a little bit ago was, legal documentation showing that, he can get the HRT and the transgender medication to prevent puberty and stuff like that, so who signed off on that? His mother. So, she's definitely accountable. Gay chemical hypothesis holds up. Yeah, it really does. It really does. We are coming for your children. What's going on, Fuzzy One? Yep, and they've stated that, right? They've made that clear. When they say something, you should believe them, because, when they tell you who they are, believe them, because they are coming for your children. Parents need to be more aware of this stuff. I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but, a lot of people don't know about the radical, extremist, violent, trans people side to all this stuff. And it's growing. For sure, it's growing.
fed you the information and the message, and so you went into your final form, a satanic NPC biological robot killer. Major new details emerge regarding trans Minneapolis Catholic school shooter manifesto, including him revealing why he regretted transitioning and how he was brainwashed to do it, but he still went to kill the Catholic conservatives that didn't tell him it was great, but mommy and daddy did.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So the deep state's desperate attempt to conceal that identity, the trans mass shooter that we broke, has failed. And that's one of the things the deep state, when they've tried to mediate and get me to sell out to them, has said, well, we want you to not talk about mass shootings when they happen. Just be quiet. And the Second Amendment and what else? Well, a lot of stuff. You want to come work for us? No, thank you. I'll keep my soul. And, oh, you think you can just try to silence me now? Everybody that's got a brain is on to how the system works now. So, too late. Alex Jones no longer needed. Except we did break it ourselves again with all the exclusive information because we're still tip of the spear. But people are right behind us. And that's real satisfaction. Because we can stop more children being killed and more of this evil unfolding.
Right, that's true. That's what it's
Deep
about.
State's epic fail in controlling the narrative surrounding the trans shooter in Minneapolis is a major victory for independent media. But how will they strike back as their cover-up collapses?
Yeah,
He
I
reports
think
at
people are
Bulwark.com.
saying, do they cover up?
You can read CNN. Minneapolis vigil community comes together to mourn 2 children killed in school shooting and the call for change. And
I got a joke that, for that line that'd get me in trouble, Mondo. Trouble if I say it, yeah. Well, if you go on Rumble, you could probably say it. Maybe not on King, but...
you go to the call for change, you know what that's going to be. Time to ban all civilian ownership of guns.
yeah, that's what
Yes,
they want.
no calls to, these law firms, they don't ever sue the makers of Prozac and all the rest of it. No, they sue Remington and bankrupt it because the mom bought the gun legally.
Wow, I didn't actually know that. Which I think he just said is that the mother bought the guns for him. Wow. Yeah, she's definitely in big trouble if that's the case. That's huge if that is true. That his mother bought the firearms he used to kill children. Yeah, that's a big problem. Unbelievable if that's true.
And they sue me. And leaders call for stronger gun control. Yes, of course. Democrats rush to call for gun control in wake of tragic Catholic school shooting by trans devil worshiper.
Literally the plot of the Manchurian Candidate. Yeah, it literally is. It literally is. I think it's been a while since I've talked about the Manchurian Candidate, but I believe that would be like to attack a political person, but hey, it's right there. It's right there. It's not that far off. Same with that other guy that took the shot at Trump, He was trans, I believe, but yeah, they're setting the stage. It's all a show. It's a false flag attack for sure.
And yes, it's safe to say I know the real thing when I see it and I hear it. The lights weren't on, but nobody was home. That was a demon. Mama Minneapolis mass shooter Robert Westman worked at Catholic school where he opened fire.
Yeah, and I do believe it's demonic.
Shooting 20 people, killing 2 children, and killing other adults.
That's the picture he drew of himself as a trans person looking in the mirror. He sees a demon. And that's what transgender is, as well as it is definitely demonic. There's a lot to that going on there. You're denying what you are, you're denying the physical reality of your existence, and that is something demonic, for sure. Because then, if you're not what you are in the physical world, then what are you? You're a demon, essentially. What's up? What's going on, Vanny and Vlad here? Good to see you. Welcome. We're watching some Alex Jones cover the mass shooter trans psycho. Chimera?
So,
yeah.
Now let's look at Daddy and Mommy. They don't want us looking at that. Google Street View, since yesterday, went and blurred out the Black Lives Matter sign in the front yard. They're really busy little beavers.
Well, big surprise. Black Lives Matter sign in the front yard. Who could have guessed?
Minneapolis trans killer of Christian children, Robin Westman, came from a very liberal family in Minnesota who fully affirmed his transition. His 18th birthday was celebrated by his father, James, and the trans colors in the family had...
Oh yeah, wasn't the shooter a part of a satanic cult or something? Transgenderism, yeah, essentially. That's what I believe is part of a satanic cult, is transgenderism, for sure. But I don't know if it was, directly a satanic cult, but it might as well be. It's basically virtually the same thing, in my opinion, but the cult of 09A? I don't think I've heard of that. Not sure what 09A is, but...
The court changed his legal identity when he was still a minor. The reason identifies as female and wants her name to reflect.
09A has always been an op? I'll have to look up what 09A is. I don't think I've ever heard of it, but sounds interesting.
That identification.
Oh yeah, 9 Angels? Is that what that is? 9 Angels? I've never heard of it.
And Daddy celebrated it. So proud of you. We love you. Because that's what you're told to do. Here's Jim Westman. Happy 18th birthday, Robin Westman. Public record show.
Oh, 09 Angles. Gotcha. Sorry, Angels. Yeah, sorry, I read that wrong. 09 Angles. Interesting.
Westman's father, James Westman, owns a home in South Minneapolis, less than 1 mile away from where the shooting happened, the killing. Police are stationed outside the home, which was cordoned off with crime scene tape. Westman's mother answered the cell phone, crying, but told a Star Tribune reporter she did not know if her child was the shooter. Your daughter, your son, that you offered up to Moloch culturally to be.
The media is trying so hard to imply that he's a Nazi. He's clearly left wing. Yeah, they are really seriously like running cover for that. Like, and that's part of I found the Nick clip where he talks about his take on it that we'll watch after this. And that's a good point that I'm going to use when talking about Nick's take. The left is mad at Christians because they actually have empathy towards everyone like Jesus taught. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And that's what I also believe is the empathetic thing to do to someone who's suffering from transgenderism or like body dysmorphia or whatever, is to get them help. Is to tell them the truth that no, this is not the right way to do. This is not the right way to be. That is actually the empathetic thing to do towards somebody who's suffering an illness, is not to lie to them and tell them that their illness is real and valid and that everyone should, conform our worlds around their illness. No, that's not how it should be, and that's actually evil. He's totally not a tranny goyim. Yeah, exactly. The media is running, they're running at that real hard. Yeah, 9 Angles is a Nazi cult? Oh, okay. I gotcha. So that's the cult that they were in? Or is that what they're saying that they were in? Interesting.
Sterilized. James Westman. Let's read about him. Very interesting. Senior application developer at ESRI. What is ESRI? Well, ESRI is the leading original geospatial satellite ground mapping GPS coordinate system for the Pentagon, Google, and everything else.
Unbelievable.
He's been working there since 96, 29 years, 7 months.
Should we be surprised?
And in a whole bunch of other very interesting places. The GIS for Defense and Intelligence. Here's the company, the hands-down leader in all of it. ESRI is a global leader in geographic information systems, GIS software, and has various contracts with the U.S. government agencies, including the Central Intelligence Agency and the Department of Defense through GSA, schedules, enterprises, license agreements, ELAs, and direct task orders for software services and training. These contracts provide access to ESRI's mapping and analytics technology to support missions related to defense intelligence, disaster response, and data sharing. ESRI on Wikipedia, read all about it. Geo database, ESRI.
Yeah, that's
and you can read all
crazy.
about mommy being so proud of her new daughter. Here she is signing documents. 5 years ago.
Let's just see what that is really quick. Oop. Sorry, it's probably hard to see that. Judge upon name change of a minor. Oh yeah, so this is the court documents of their parent, the mother, trying to change their legal name from Robert to Robin, right? So part of the transgender process. So yeah, they signed off on it. Yeah, they knew. 09A, fake Nazis, real Satanists, pro-Jewish, real CIA, FBI, Mossad connections? Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. That makes sense. Yeah, so they're basically a psyop, real Satanists, yeah. We don't fuck with real Satanism. That is fucked up. But, very interesting. Thank you for that information. Yeah, they're weird as fuck, yeah. So it sounds like.
So that her little boy could start to take all the chemicals and become this new, beautiful butterfly. This chalice for demonic forces has now carried out its mission. He had a band called Boredom Boys, and you can read all about slaughtering children, Satan worship, going and murdering children, how wonderful it is.
That's so disgusting.
Total boredom. Some of the songs. The School Shooter. Stupid Brain. In My Bunker. Don't Get Stabbed Tonight. Total boredom, or just some of the songs. And again,
like, how did nobody see this coming? They knew.
But now, it's been blurred over conveniently.
Yeah, they're left-wing psychopaths.
Wonder what else
for
is
sure.
Scrubbed away, scrubbed away.
He has a Bandcamp account? Yeah, that's what it looks like. He made songs about killing people. Big surprise! Not really. Oh shoot, your Rumble is back? Yeah, Rumble is back. Back on Rumble! Yep. Back on the home of Rumble. We're both on Kick and Rumble, but, yep, that's back. But yeah, so, I mean, he had a band, apparently, and, you know, made songs about killing people. It's like, nobody knew. This was such a surprise. Yeah, right. This guy should have been locked up a long time ago.
So we can hear that he was a Trump supporter, or something like that. And notice that it's Minnesota.
He's a Trump supporter, but he has "Kill Trump" on his fucking gun. Yeah, bullshit. I don't buy it.
5 days before the No Kings uprising plan, where they're going to get violent, Democrat leader said, because our constituents want blood and want to force Trump to put troops on the streets so we can call him a dictator, the Podesta plan. I said they could also shoot up Democrat politicians and blame Trump. And when this guy went around that worked for Walls and shot 2 elected leaders, state senator, state house member, and their spouses.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that.
Why, within hours, they said he did it because he loved Trump and loved me.
Yeah.
Wasn't that
that's a bunch of bullshit.
Then the letters came out and things that he actually was working for Walls to trigger a collapse in the government so Walls could play victim. And
yeah, I definitely believe that. Definitely believe that.
What the truth is. That's just what the shooter said, that he was working with other people. And then they caught his wife and a bunch of other weirdos trying to get out of the state in a car full of guns, cash, and passports.
Yeah, where are they going? They're trying to flee.
Didn't go quite like it was supposed to. Then they had top FBI Secret Service consultants do the behavioral analysis of these individuals that were within hours of it, saying, well, he loved Trump, he loved InfoWars. Yeah, sure he did.
Yeah, a bunch of bullshit.
And they said it was the most disingenuous, deceptive crap they'd ever heard. And I'd said the same thing before they went public. I don't have a degree, and I'm an expert analyzing, and I can just sit there and go, well, this guy just said like 10 times he's not involved, there's no other accomplices. And then he like, well, let me tell you, yeah, he really liked Trump and Alex Jones, InfoWars, yeah, and I like him too.
Yeah, Tim Waltz, yeah. What a retard.
Little little damage control going on there. I didn't just say,
little
look, for
damage
mass shootings,
control,
Democrat
yeah.
politicians be blamed on Trump supporters and Trump. I said, I bet they blamed Trump and me within hours. And I'm sure this guy's telling the truth. I'm sure the guy went and did that for me, right? Yeah, because you know if they're going to pull stuff off like this, they're going to blame me, aren't they? They just can't help it because we were first again to reveal the shooter and reveal the details and blow it wide open. And within
Alex Jones is
hours,
definitely
their
on top of
entire
it.
cover-up fell into a burning pile of ashes. Nailed your ass again. Oh, Democrat Party law firms, do you like the fact I'm still on air despite all your show trials and behavior and coming after my family?
Yeah, good for Alex Jones for keeping up
see,
the fight,
all
for
the
sure.
attempts to get people to not think like I do and not look at what I look at and not learn what I've learned. Has it gotten people to stop looking at how Alex Jones analyzes things and knows all this? Or has it gotten everybody else to start saying, how's he do that?
Yeah,
And that's what I do, is
3.3
teach
million
people.
likes. Yeah,
Because this
I
is
don't
not
think
that
so.
hard.
Or 3.3 million
And now,
views.
More and more people, a giant minority, verging on a majority, are researched, are skeptical, are informed, ask who benefits, and are researching immediately. So the different authorities got this shooter's background, videos, manifesto, all of it scrubbed.
Yeah, they scrubbed it.
Robin Eastman. So I guess they were hoping they could say he was maybe an Alex Jones supporter.
Yeah.
But you see, it doesn't work now because we were waiting.
No
the
remorse,
second it
yeah.
happened, we're watching you.
There's a fucking upside down
We're
cross on
watching
there.
you. Every move you make, every breath you take, I'll be watching you.
What really makes a
Yeah.
nutraceutical?
So that was Alex Jones talking about it, and yeah, I mean, there's lots to, uncover there. Parents try to flee. They knew about it for a long time. We'll see what happens. I definitely hope the parents do get charged in this situation. But that's kind of why I believe in calling it out as what it is, which is the transgender shooter. He's left-wing. Is because the media, we're going up against the entire mainstream media. They're trying to run their psyops to try and frame him as some kind of right-wing person that watches Alex Jones, which is just crazy to me.